If you were born between 1957 and 1995, then you are part of a generation that God specifically chose for a purpose that the world is only now beginning to understand. You are Generation X, the older millennials, the bridge generation, and your singleness, your loneliness, your feeling of being left behind while everyone else paired up and moved forward. It was not punishment. It was divine engineering. It was preparation. You have watched your peers find their soulmates. You have watched them get married and have children and build their dream lives with their perfect partners. And some of you, at some point in your journey, felt the sting of wondering why you were passed over, why the good ones all got taken, why you remained alone, why your prayers for a partner seemed to go unanswered, why God kept the windows of your heart closed when everyone around you found their keys. But here's the truth that is about to revolutionize how you understand your entire romantic history. God didn't fail to send your person. God kept you single intentionally. And that intentionality was not punishment or delay. It was the most profound blessing disguised as deprivation. Your singleness was a divine holding pattern, not a divine rejection. There is something specific about the generation born between 1957 and 1995 that required a particular kind of preparation. This was the generation called to awaken humanity at a time of unprecedented crisis. The world was entering its darkest hour. Systems of control were reaching their peak. Consciousness on the planet was hitting rock bottom. And God chose a generation born in these years to be the ones who would catalyze the Great Awakening. You were sent here to be awakeners, healers, transmuters, prophets, guides. And to do that work, to truly do it, you had to be prepared in a very particular way. Your singleness was part of that preparation. Imagine if you had been married at 25 to someone who didn't understand spiritual reality. Imagine if you'd been tied to a partner who wanted you to be small, to conform, to abandon your spiritual gifts in service to nuclear family normalcy. Your mission would have been aborted. Your gifts would have atrophied. You would have spent the last 20 years in a partnership that drained your light instead of amplifying it. Instead, your singleness has been your monastery. Your aloneness has been your sacred retreat where you could do the deep spiritual work that being married would have made nearly impossible. You've had the space to heal your wounds without someone else's unhealed wounds triggering you daily. You've had the silence to hear the divine voice without someone else's needs constantly interrupting. You've had the freedom to explore your spiritual path without negotiating every step with a partner. Your singleness was not punishment. It was protection. It was the container that allowed your soul to do the work it came here to do. But there's something deeper happening now. The timing is shifting. Your spiritual preparation is nearly complete. The healing work you came here to do is reaching a new level, and the universe is now ready to send you your divine partner, not your false soulmate, not the distraction partner, but the one who was specifically prepared for this time in your life, for this version of you, for this mission you're about to step into. Understand this. There is a massive difference between your divine partner and your distraction partner. Your divine partner is someone whose soul frequency is aligned with yours. They see your light and want to amplify it, not diminish it. They understand spiritual reality. They support your mission. They are a collaboration, not a compromise. They are an expansion, not a contraction. When your divine partner arrives, you will know it with absolute certainty, because everything in you will say yes. Not maybe, not hopefully, but yes. A distraction partner, by contrast, looks right on the outside, but feels wrong in the deeper places. They're attractive, they're successful, they fit the template of what you're supposed to want. But when you're with them, you feel smaller. Your gifts feel threatened. Your mission feels negotiable. Your spiritual path feels compromised. You find yourself shrinking to fit their limited understanding. You find yourself making excuses for their unkindness. You find yourself explaining away the ways they don't get you. God kept you single all these years precisely so that you wouldn't settle for a distraction partner. Because if you're in a partnership with someone whose frequency is lower than yours, someone who is aligned with the old world instead of the new consciousness emerging, you will spend your entire life trying to awaken someone who doesn't want to be awakened. You will waste your gifts. You will delay your mission. You will become trapped in a relationship that feels like serving a sentence rather than building a sanctuary. The generation born between 1957 and 1995 has been held in this divine waiting pattern to ensure that when the partnership does come, it is with someone equally prepared, equally called, equally committed to the awakening. The universe cannot afford to give you a distraction partner right now. The times are too critical. The need is too great. Your gifts are too valuable. Your mission is too important. Let's talk about what happens during this divine holding pattern. It is not wasted time. It is not dead time. It is incubation time. During this season of singleness, your consciousness is being refined. Your wounds are being healed. Your gifts are being activated and integrated. Your faith is being tested and deepened. You're learning to trust yourself more than you trust others' opinions. You're learning to listen to your inner knowing more than you listen to the world's voice. You're learning what you actually need versus what you've been taught you should want. This is sacred preparation. This is the chrysalis stage where you're being transformed from one version of yourself into another. Inside the chrysalis, the caterpillar doesn't feel like it's progressing. It feels like it's dissolving. It feels like everything it was is falling apart. But that dissolution is necessary. The only way to become a butterfly is to completely disintegrate the caterpillar. And the only way to become the healed, awakened, mission-driven version of yourself was to go through a season of complete aloneness where all your previous identities could dissolve. Your singleness has been the container for that transformation. Not everyone can undergo this kind of metamorphosis while in relationship. Most people need the stability of partnership to feel secure. But you, this generation, was chosen because you have the spiritual strength to be alone, to do the deep work, to let yourself be completely dismantled so that you could be reconstructed in a more evolved form. What's happening right now is a threshold moment. Your preparation is nearly complete. You've integrated the lessons. You've done the healing. You've activated your gifts. You've reconnected with your purpose. You are becoming the fully formed version of yourself. the one you had to become before the right partnership could arrive. And now, the universe is positioning the right people. But here's what's critical. You must not, under any circumstances, lower your frequency to accommodate someone who hasn't done their own work. You must not accept a distraction partner because you're tired of being alone. You must not settle because the biological clock is ticking. You must not compromise because society is telling you that you're running out of time. The worst possible thing that could happen to you right now is to accept a partnership out of desperation instead of devotion. Your divine partner exists. They have been preparing too. They have been going through their own chrysalis, their own transformation, their own spiritual work. They're not perfect. They're not here to complete you, but they are aligned. They get it. They support it. They see your light and they don't feel threatened by it. They have their own light and they want to amplify yours while you amplify theirs. This is the partnership you've been waiting for. And the beautiful thing is, when they finally appear, you'll know it wasn't waiting in vain. You'll see that every lonely night was necessary. Every moment of longing was preparing your heart to recognize them. Every time you refused to settle was you saying yes to them in advance, even though they hadn't arrived yet. The partnership that's coming will be different from what the world tries to sell you. It won't be a fairy tale, but it will be authentic. It will be a true meeting of two awakened souls who chose each other not out of need, but out of recognition. You will see each other, you will know each other, and you will do the sacred work of helping each other become even more fully yourself. This is true partnership. This is true love. Not the absence of difficulty, but the presence of someone who faces difficulty with you and grows with you through it. But it will only manifest if you continue to hold your standards high, if you continue to trust your discernment. If you continue to say no to the almost right person so that you have the availability to say yes to the completely right person. If you continue to honor the inner knowing that kept you single through all these years, because that same inner knowing is going to recognize your divine partner the moment they appear. You've been single this long because you're strong enough to stay single until the right partnership shows up. Don't lose that strength now out of impatience. The prophet Jeremiah wrote, "I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." For those of you who've wondered why you remained single, if your future was written, if your hope was real, this is your answer. Your singleness was not the absence of blessing. It was the presence of a deeper blessing. It was the container for your transformation. It was the protection around your mission. It was the sacred waiting that prepared you to recognize your divine partner the moment they arrived. And they are arriving. As you're stepping into your mission, as you're awakening to your purpose, as you're recognizing the power you carry, the universe is bringing the right partnerships into alignment. Not everyone will marry. Some of you are being called to a different kind of union, a spiritual partnership without legal marriage, a beloved community instead of a nuclear family. But those of you who are meant to have a romantic partnership, your person is being positioned right now. The question is, are you ready? Have you done enough healing that you won't dump your wounds onto them? Have you activated enough of your gifts that you know who you are and what you're here to do? Have you learned enough about yourself that you know what you truly need versus what you've been taught you should want? Have you developed enough discernment that you can recognize your divine partner when they appear, instead of being seduced by a distraction partner? This is the real work of this season. Not convincing yourself to be happy alone, though that's part of it. Not desperation for any partner, though the world is teaching that, but deepening, refining, becoming so clear about your own frequency that you recognize immediately when someone arrives who matches it. This is the final test of your preparation, not whether you can be alone, but whether you can recognize and commit to the right person when they finally appear. Comment below if this message landed for you, if you recognize this as your season of preparation and transformation. Like this video to amplify the message that your singleness was not failure, but purpose. Subscribe to receive more messages about divine timing, soulmate recognition, and the partnerships that are meant for awakened souls. And remember, you were born in 1957 to 1995 for a reason. Your generation carries a specific frequency. Your singleness was a specific gift, and your divine partnership, when it arrives, will be a collaboration for world transformation like nothing you've experienced before. Trust the timing, honor your discernment, and stay open for the one who's coming.